first in the range is the lovely bar of chocolate, which is made with essential oils of cardamom and peppermint. Now, the great thing about this with you as a retailer to sell this on, if you're in a health food shop and your customer comes in and says, "Oh, I've got indigestion, have you got any Rene?" Why sell them a Rene when you might as well sell them this bar of chocolate for indigestion? Perfect solution. And a lot of our retailers will start moving towards that way. And at the end of the day, I think your consumer will be far better grateful to buy a bar of chocolate than a small tub of Rene. The next bars in the range was one of my suppliers, my veg man. He gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. His wife, not mentioning any names, is going through the change. And I was talking to them about, I think I might start with a concept and make chocolates with essential oils to give you that massage from within. 8 o'clock in the evening, John was fast asleep on the table. Jilly was feeling a lot of pressure because people were looking and thinking that she was either boring, why he is asleep, but not understanding the whole background of the information. I mentioned this to Jilly, what I was doing, and she said, if you're going to do something, can you try and make something to keep him awake but knock me out because I'm going to throttle him? A few weeks later, I phoned Jilly up and said, by the way, it's Paul, I've done that chocolate for you. What chocolate? The chocolate to keep John awake and to knock you out. Fantastic. And that's how my fantastic bar was born. Essential oils of ginger, grapefruit oil, and also black pepper. So it saves you having that double espresso. The dreamy bar is, Jilly's got so much going on in her mind, and when I gave her this to sample, she came back to me and she said, it needs to have a government health warning on this because I'm going to throttle you because I have trouble sleeping, she says. So I decided to take it to bed with me and have 1 or 2 pieces, and she actually woke up to it with it stuck on her face. So she wasn't impressed on that, but on the whole of it, she had a really good night's sleep. And geranium is so compatible with women as well, and it's great because if you've got an overactive mind, it just really calms you down to help you with that aid in a great night's sleep. I don't know about you retailers, but I occasionally have a grey day. I wake up in the morning and think, I'm not getting out of bed, it's a duvet day, the weather's grey, it's raining, it's cold, log fire. Well, I haven't got room for a grey day, and I decided to put together a combination of, again, using essential oils of uplifting. Now, we're all familiar with having a nice Earl Grey tea, so what I decided to do was actually take the essential oils of that, which is bergamot, and I incorporated some spicy tones of cinnamon, and I've created this uplifting bar, which is beautiful. Now, this is the only bar I do in white chocolate, and the reason for that is because the energy this gives me, it didn't actually work within the milk or the dark chocolate because of the strength of it, but it just works perfectly within the milk. For me, this bar is, it's just so phenomenal. I mean, I like all the bars, but this has got to be the greatest for me. I don't know if you've managed to get and see the movie with Johnny Depp and Juliette Binoche in there. That scene in Chocolat where the villagers came against her and they didn't accept her, and she actually went down, she was extracting the liquor from the cacao and she was adding all these herbs and spices, and the whole village started coming around and were more sensual towards her. I started visualizing in that and I started tingling, what would I use in that blend? And I started coming up with, we all know if we go for a sensual massage, we would have ylang-ylang and we would have patchouli in there to make us feel more sensual and more loving ourselves. Now, from a food-related thing, what food would turn that into more aphrodisiac properties, to be more acceptable, etc., etc. And this blend of sweet orange, given the spicy tones of the nutmeg and that undertone of chili. The next bar, the sexy bar of chocolate. Now, this has gone worldwide. It's been on Sky News. The Sun wrote about it in the newspaper. One of the health critics claimed about the chili, the properties that it had. And again, it's sort of platformed overnight. And, right through Asia, America, and interview after interview, it went down a storm. Now, consumers say the fashionable thing at the moment is chili and chocolate. Great. Now, for me, I actually done the chili and the chocolate in milk chocolate, and the reason for that is from a spiritual side. The chili is suppressed by the sweetness of the milk and the sugar. So the heat is delayed. So what you're actually getting is you're enjoying the milk chocolate, but then you get a slight warm tingling afterwards. The first bar in the dark range is gorgeous. I actually done this coming into the fall season around October time when the advert started. Jaguar had this advert about being gorgeous, and then we all know the Boots advert about gorgeous and girls just want to have fun. But gorgeous for me was uplifting, but also touching base of coming into the autumn and the winter solstice, where we start looking at mixed spices, and we always look at Christmas puddings, etc. So I decided as taking 73% of organic cocoa solids, I incorporated some mixed spice into that. And at that particular time, superfruits were fashionable. So what I decided to do is, obviously within this antioxidant, which is renowned within dark chocolate, I got 73%. I decided to put in the mixed spice. I put in some sweet orange oil, some rose petals for a cleansing of the palate, and just a very slight undertone of rose oil as well. So you've got that floral notes, but it just puts it in a different dimension. The second in the range is the seductive bar. This is what I call my karma bar. I've done a couple of healing sessions, came back feeling a bit spaced out and needed to come back down to ground level. Had some goji berries left over from breakfast, which was the new superfruits, which the media were all banging on about. So I actually decided to bring those commodities together. I took the jasmine and green tea, some goji berries, some ginger, compiled them all into this 73% cacao, and came up with seductive, which is my karma bar. The third bar in a try the darker side is the mistress bar. Now I know you're all sitting there giggling away, and the reason I came back to this is consumers wanted chili and chocolate, dark chocolate and chili. For me, from a spiritual side, it didn't work. I'll be honest, it didn't work. You've got 73% cocoa solids, and you've also got chili. So you ate it, and that was it. There was no movement at all. It was as it was. I needed to take a step further. At that particular time, getting back to my other bars, superfruits were high on the agenda. Acai, we've all had an innocent smoothie. But what I wanted to do was take it a stage further. So I've got about 10 grams of acai in this bar of chocolate. So it's packed full of antioxidants. It's got your chili. So you've got the heat from the chili, you've got the sourness from the acai berry. And again, we all remember the crunchy bar where you would eat it and you would get all the snap in there. I decided to put on a different texture, and I put in cocoa nibs. This is my naughty bar. This is what I call my mistake. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. And the great thing about this is that it's basically milk chocolate with Christmas pudding. But what it is that how I came to do it is that I just cooked some Christmas pudding. I had some melted chocolate left over, and I just put the two together. This is basically a milk chocolate bar packed full of flavour. Now, whereas the other bars you would last 3 or 4 times longer, this one you could quite easily consume a kilo of it. Okay, this is suitable for vegetarian as well, and it's also gluten-free. The next 2 bars in my range are yin and yang, and these are what I call my medicinal bars. Now, how this started off with is the first bar. Okay, a friend of mine, his daughter was 12 years old and just started going through the menstrual. Not having a great time about it. And you women, when this, the time of the month comes, there's a lot of pressure, there's cramps and spasms, and it, you have a pretty raw time of it. She said to me, she knew that I'd done the other chocolates. I said, oh, if only you could do a bar of chocolate, that was good for me, that could take away these pains with my PMT. You can't have a yin without the yang. And this is the masculine bar. Again, a lot of guys used to come and with stress-related problems, they used to can't concentrate, perform, and they used to come up with a lot of penile dysfunction, etc., etc. And without going into too much detail, I sort of came back with a database and worked on the yang bar. Similar process. I've taken ashwagandha, I've taken kapikachu, and also got pura, which again 4 pieces equates to that daily dose. Because of the amount of herbs in there, we've also put in there some ginseng and some viscosity. I've also put in there some essential oils of sandalwood, which is very compatible for masculine. Okay, and this helps towards your, the problems, hence with libido. Okay, so if people are coming into your health shop or your health store and wanting some ingredients or tablets or tinctures to help the libido style, then sell them the Yang Bar.